always had ideas for how to do it. One of his earliest ideas was for a kissing contest. This was an old radio and DJ gimmick to sponsor a kissing contest and have a bunch of young couples come out to a mall or a car dealership. They were marathons. The couples would kiss as long as they possibly could, with only 5-minute breaks every hour. The way Neil saw it, we were perfectly positioned to capitalize on this phenomenon with our name. He suggested that we re-record the old popular Bill song Twisted Time, which would be changed to Kissin' Time and used to promote a series of contests around the country. The winners would get 2 big prizes: an all-expense-paid trip to Hawaii and an appearance on the Mike Douglas Show, a daytime talk show on network television. It wasn't a song that we had chosen, but Neil was insistent. He was a real promoter, and he believed it would be a successful gimmick. We finally agreed, but only on condition that we rewrite the lyrics. It would have been a death sentence to record the song with lyrics from the 60s. It wasn't our style or our time. Paul and I sat down in the studio with paper and pencil and remade the song to fit our fans, mentioning the cities where we were big, the places people wanted to hear about. Then we re-recorded it. The whole process took about an hour. All in all, I'd say that we went along with it reluctantly. It certainly wasn't rock and roll, and we knew that. But we managed to do a decent job recording it, trying to get as much of our personality into it as we possibly could. We also extracted a promise from Neil that the cover version of the song would never appear on any actual Kiss albums, that it would be a one-shot deal to promote the contest. Of course, it didn't work out that way. The song later found its way onto some albums and re-releases. As a promotional single, Kissin' Time was moderately successful. At the beginning of May, it was released. Nothing to Lose, a real Kiss song, was the B-side, and broke into the top 100. Neil's master plan was for us to follow the regional kissing contests and appear with the national winners on the Mike Douglas Show. Needless to say, we weren't the show's usual fare, and we played up our strangeness. One of the other guests was a comedian, Tony Fields, and at one point she said, "Who are you supposed to be?" "I'm evil incarnate," I said, giving my best scowl. "No, you're not," she shot right back. "You can't fool me. You're probably some nice Jewish kid from Long Island." She was a trooper. I later thanked her on my solo album. Nice Jewish kids or not, we performed Firehouse, and it was a real spectacle. Plenty of pyrotechnics, plenty of makeup, and so forth. As a performing group, we were hitting our stride. We were exhausted from touring, but we had careers to build, so as soon as the first album began to lag, we went right back into the studio to record our second, which was titled Hotter Than Hell. In many ways, it was a continuation of the first album. The songs were drawn from the same pool of material, mostly written by Paul and me, with a couple of contributions from Ace. We had written some on the road and used some from the original Kiss demo. The producers were the same, Kenny Kerner and Richie Wise, who had done a fine job on the first album and were easy to work with. In fact, there was only one difference between the first album and the second, but it was a big difference, a 3,000-mile difference, because Kerner and Wise had moved out west to California. We had to follow them to cut the second album. The culture shock was tremendous. We felt out of place in a million small ways, because we were a New York band with New York attitudes. The record label rented us cars, but that was just asking for trouble. Ace and Peter drank too much, and drove too fast, and cracked up their cars. I didn't drive at all. The one benefit was the girls. While we were recording, we lived at the Ramada Inn, and it was a real rock and roll hotel, with girls going up and down the halls all day, and the swimming pool stuffed with them. We didn't spend many nights alone. Recording was smooth, more or less. Although Peter and Ace were a handful, Ace had his usual problems showing up on time. Peter was, as Peter has always been, deeply insecure about his role in the process. There's one song on there, Strange Ways, that was written by Ace, and while we were recording, Peter insisted on playing a long drum solo. It was the kind of thing that bands like Led Zeppelin were doing, but mostly in their live shows. And Peter was no John Bonham. It just didn't work. When we heard it, we all thought it was ridiculous, and we insisted that it come off the record. Peter dug in his heels. If the solo went, he said, he would quit the band. This wasn't the first time he had given us an ultimatum, and it wouldn't be the last. We responded to it the way we always responded to his ultimatums. We ignored them, cut the drum solo out, and did what we knew was best for the band. He didn't quit. Norman Seath, who had been a brain surgeon in Africa before he became a photographer, did the cover shoot for Hotter Than Hell. He was entirely competent and professional, but he was a guy who believed that when you do a photo session, you have to create a certain ambiance. He probably explained his philosophy to us on the phone, but before we went down to his studio, we didn't know quite what to expect. When we got there, it was like stepping into another world. He had a number of girls, and they were walking around half naked, with silver paint all over them. They were were mirrors on the ceilings and pieces of furniture suspended from wires. The whole feel was very surreal, like the Twilight Zone. Everyone got drunk, except for me. Paul got so drunk that at the end of the shoot, we had to carry him out and lock him in the back seat of our car so he wouldn't wander away. The photo shoot was also interesting because a few days earlier, Ace had decided to see how Afterwards, she motioned to me with her finger. I walked over and said, "Officer, you know you can't make me come with just one finger." I was being cocky. "Very funny," she said. Then she asked me for an autograph. "It's for my daughter," she said. "She's fascinated by your tongue. I don't understand your tastes, but what am I going to do?" "What are you trying to fool?" I said. "It's not your daughter, it's you. You want to come and get it. I'm doing one night." Naturally, I didn't expect anything, but later that night there was a knock on the door. And the woman was standing there in a full police outfit. When she walked in, it was like a scene from a movie. She took her hat off and her long hair fell down. Then she unbuckled her belt and took off her gun. Then the scene faded to black. The next day we both came downstairs and she was dressed like a policewoman. The guys all lined up against the wall. It was as if someone had yelled, "Spread 'em!" When I wasn't chasing girls, I was trying to keep Ace and Peter out of trouble. It took some doing, especially in Ace's case. Originally, Peter and Ace had roomed together, but after a while, they didn't get along. Peter asked me if I would mind if he roomed with Paul, and I roomed with Ace. It didn't bother me. We were all in the same band. One night I was going down to a hotel bar to see if there were any girls for the taking. I asked Ace if he wanted to come along. "Nah," he said, "you go ahead. I'll be down in a little while." I went by myself, and of course there were girls, and I started talking to them. And after a while, though, I started to wonder where Ace was. I called up to the room, and no one answered. Then I got a little worried. I got one of the hotel managers, and we went to the room and knocked on the door, but there was no answer. Finally, we smashed open the door. Ace was in the bathtub, passed out, and slumped down with the water rising. His mouth was just above the water. He would have died in a minute. He smelled like a pickled herring. We pulled him out of the water naked and put him to bed. I stayed up all night to make sure he didn't roll over and fall to the ground, which he did anyway, or throw up and choke on his own vomit. By the next morning, I was exhausted. Ace wasn't. He bounded out of bed, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. "Hey," he said, "I stayed in last night and went to bed early. What did you do?" I didn't remember a single minute of the ordeal. Despite our best efforts, and we were still growing as a touring band, both in confidence and in ability, Hotter Than Hell wasn't a commercial success. The album barely made it into the top 100, and soon Neil Bogart was calling for yet another album. This time we came back to New York to record it. It was called Dressed to Kill, and Neil had decided that he would produce it with us back in New York at Electric Lady Studios. The objective for the third album was to push Kiss to a higher level. For previous albums, Neil had boosted sales with novelty singles or television appearances. This time he wanted an anthem. He told us he wanted a song like Sly and the Family Stone's "I Want to Take You Higher," something that would get the whole audience involved, screaming, pumping their fists. Paul had an unfinished song he had been working on for months, and I had a piece of a song that he had written earlier. We put the two together, and before we knew it, we had this new song, which eventually became